In July of 2016, my mom was in labor with my sister, and my dad was never around to see us, even when she was about to give birth. So I had to take care of my little brother while my mom was in the hospital. My dad would call us from time to time, but he would always be dry. My mom and dad were still married at this point, they just needed a break. Then I noticed my uncle was my mom's doctor. My uncle and I were never really close and we barely saw each other, but I started to see a lot more of my uncle. Even when he wasn't taking care of my mom in the hospital, he would walk into her room and tell me I needed to leave because they needed to talk about adult stuff. I didn't really think much of it. That same day, my dad finally came to the hospital and saw me sitting outside the room. He said to me, "Why are you stood outside, little man?" I ran to his arms, hugging him tightly. Then I explained to him why I was outside, telling him how my mom and the doctor were talking about adult stuff. He just shrugged it off, as anyone would do. But over the course of my mom being in the hospital, my dad started getting suspicious of how many times the doctor would walk into my mom's room and leave 45 to 50 minutes later, since this went on for days. My dad grew annoyed of it, and he went to stop the doctor from going in, and he realized it was his brother. So my dad questioned his brother, asking him why he was always in my mom's room, and he replied with, "Nothing, just getting her blood pressure." My dad knew my uncle was lying, so he set a tiny camera in my mom's hospital room. My dad was waiting for the next time my uncle was going to go in and started watching what was happening through the camera. He saw that my mom was having an affair with my uncle while in labor. Now, my uncle is disowned by his dad, and my dad has a restraining order against him. 2 months later, the affair broke my family apart to the point where my mom became so mentally ill she took her own life. When I was in 7th grade, my best friend and I decided to make a channel on WhatsApp where we throw shade at people we didn't like. But instead of using our names, we used our bullies' names. We started throwing shade and the channel started going around and people started trying to figure out who it was. It eventually got reported to our teacher, so I decided to act like a victim and also send it to her. Our teacher told me it had already been reported to the principal and will be handled at school. When my ex and I started talking about it, he suspected it was me. I told him it was not me and showed him evidence. This evidence was from using my other phone to take screenshots. After a while, school had started. Everyone was talking about it and so on. The teacher called all the suspects in and they went into the principal's office. I was so scared I was going to be next. Then I just saw my bullies crying and I said to myself, "Thank God I'm safe." Well, I did get called in by my teacher. She found out that I had shared the channel to one of my friends. I came up with a lie saying, "No ma'am, there was this random girl who sent it to me and I don't recall having a number," and she believed me. After that, they brought the police to question us, and I told them the same lie, and they never suspected it was me to this day. This story starts in November of 2025, and I had just turned 18 in September of 2025, so I had only recently become a legal adult. My dad told me he was going to see my gran after dinner one evening, so as usual I decided to go with him. He also told me that we would be stopping at a bar nearby where my gran lives, since some of his friends from work would be there. I knew a couple of his work friends and they're great people, and if my dad was there, it meant I wouldn't have to pay for any drinks all night. We were supposed to stay for just one drink, but we didn't end up leaving until 1 a.m. At the start of the night, there was a woman sitting at the bar with my friends, and I noticed right away how beautiful she was. She was exactly my type. Long black hair, tattoos, glamorous outfit, and of course, definitely old enough to be my mother. For the sake of keeping things anonymous, we're going to refer to her as Miss MILF throughout the story. My dad thought she was a bartender that he knew and shouted something at her as if they were old friends, and it was only when she glared at him that he realized he got the wrong person and simply apologized. The bar we went to had Purple Rain cocktails for £2.50 on special that night, which are my literal favorite, so I was knocking them back like my life depended on it. After a significant amount of cocktails, I saw Miss MILF in the bathroom and knew I just had to talk to her. I would regret it if I didn't. I apologized to her for my dad and simply explained that he thought he knew her from somewhere and she just laughed it off. I noticed she was wearing a Sleep Token t-shirt, and although I didn't listen to them, I listened to a lot of metal music, so I asked her about it since I didn't want the conversation to end. We were talking for a while about different things. She told me she recently broke up with her boyfriend of 8 years, whom she had a child with, so she was putting herself back out there. At some point in the conversation, she mentioned that she liked older men. I was drunk at this point, so my memories are a bit rough. I can't remember the context of how it was brought up. I was like, well, this is my time to shine, so I mentioned that I'm lesbian and also like older women so that I understood where she was coming from. I'm very feminine, so a lot of times people never guess that I'm gay, so I had to drop it in there. She then told me that since breaking up with her boyfriend, she has started experimenting with women and thinks they are so much better and would start dating them properly. When I tell you I mentally hit the Roderick Heffley pose, I was so excited, but I remained nonchalant on the outside. Well, I tried to. We got to flirting, and she mentioned that she was going to a metal gig the week after and told me she was going to try and blow off her friend so I could go with her instead, half joking, but also was heavily flirting with me, telling me she would much rather go with me. Bearing in mind, when she found out my age, she said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're so young. You're so mature, you have such an old soul." I'm definitely not mature in the slightest, but I'm good at locking in when I'm flirting with the MILFs. I found out she was 33, which was actually pretty young compared to my usual type. I have mommy issues. A bartender came in to make sure I was okay. Since I had been in there so long, my dad sent her in to check on me. Miss MILF's friend came in shortly after we had exchanged numbers and Instagrams, and she was insanely drunk, so my girl was going to take care of her. Her friend was using the bathroom while yapping about God knows what, and me and Miss MILF were trying not to laugh, but she was looking into my eyes so intensely and just leaned in to kiss me. We fully made out for a good 10 seconds at least, only pulling away to laugh at her friend's drunk yapping. I left the bathroom with an enormous shit-eating grin on my face as I fixed my lipstick. When I returned to my dad and his friends, I had to lock in and said, "Sorry, I just got to chatting with somebody." When Miss MILF walked out with her friend, I turned to my dad's friend, who is like an uncle to me, and we had been gossiping about women and my dating life all night, so I straight up told him what happened in the bathroom. Bro had like 10 beers and was not nonchalant about it at all, and said, "Oh my gosh, no way you snogged that woman in there. No wonder you were in there for so long." He was so loud, and my dad turned to me like, "Hello?" He found this hilarious. Since I'm lesbian, he almost treats me like a son since we can talk about women. His only problem is my habit of going after women far too old for me, and the next day he told me off for making out with the 33-year-old. In the car the full journey home, Miss MILF and I were texting, and we agreed to meet on the following Saturday night for drinks since she would be out with her friend anyway at a gig, but was planning on going for drinks after. She still kept saying that she couldn't believe I was so young. When I got home, of course I decided to stalk her Instagram and noticed we had a mutual. I said, I know her. Her mutual was a girl I was friends with in school, but she was in the year below me. Whenever I would skip class, I would always bump into her doing the same thing. Then I scrolled further down Miss MILF's Instagram, and my heart sank as I realized, that's her daughter. I was definitely panicking as I realized, fuck, I just made out with my pal's mom, and I am literally seeing her again. I remembered that she was very snaky to some of my other friends, and was quite nasty to them, so I was like, well, fuck it, who cares? Her mom is hot, and this is just me avenging my girlfriends. I forced my friend to come with me to meet her because there was no way I was going out by myself like a sado. We were ordering pitcher after pitcher at Weatherspoons as I was impatiently waiting for her to text me and tell me where she was. Miss MILF told us she had just left the concert venue and let us know that she was going to the nightclub around the corner from the Spoons we were at. I love that club anyway, so I was excited to go and see her there, but she didn't show up for another hour, so by the time she arrived, I was completely hammered. Even my friend, who is a gay man, agreed that she was smoking hot. My jaw literally dropped when she walked in. She looked so gorgeous in a black shirt, suit kind of thing that was very low cut, and a pair of heels. She looked way more glamorous than I did, since I was very much giving Temu Courtney love that night. She disappeared at one point with her friend, the same one that was drunk the previous week, and realized that she was on the floor above since the club had 2 stories. When I saw her, she had her hair tied back into a low bun, and I nearly passed away on the spot. It somehow made her look even better. The 4 of us then went down to the smoking area, and I was like, let me look all nonchalant and sexy smoking my cigarette. Her friend did not seem to like me. Her friend was like 50, I think. I can't remember. She was saying to me, "You're a really good-looking girl. Why are you going out with her?" And then she asked if I kissed her last time, to which I told her we did, and she said, well, trust me, she won't do it again. Bearing in mind, Miss MILF was right beside me the entire time. I simply said, okay, I don't care, I'm just enjoying her company, which she ate up. Her friend was low-key being a jealous hater bitch the whole night towards us, and my friend said that she probably fancied one of us. At the club, behind the bar, there is a massive Spice Girls poster, and when buying me a drink, Miss MILF told me that I would definitely be Baby Spice because I'm adorable and super sweet, which I ate up. I told her she would be Scary Spice because she is very intimidating, or Posh Spice. She said, excuse me, why would I be Scary Spice? While playfully arguing with me, which really turned me on. If y'all ever see me getting told off by a hot MILF in public, just leave me. I'm exactly where I want to be. The entire night, if a man would come up and try to flirt with me, she had her arm fully around my waist, glaring at them, just saying, she's with me, or she's mine, which, oh my god, made me blush so bad. And I was doing the same for her. Near the end of the night, as the club was closing, we went to the bathroom together so we could make out in private, but it took a bit of a turn. She pulled out a dime bag, and I was like, oh. She told me she never does it unless her friend brought it and asked if I wanted some. I had never tried it before, and I don't do drugs like that, but I thought, I'm literally going home now to a safe place, so if anything goes wrong, I'll be fine. She proceeded to give it to me off her keys, which I'm not gonna lie, despite the fact that I'm never going to do it again, that was hot as fuck. We made out some more before meeting our friends outside. On the walk to the taxi, my friend drunkenly told Miss MILF's friend that I knew her daughter from school, and apparently she was delighted to find this out and said, oh, I have to tell her this. My friend told me the next day, and I was furious with him for it. We got in separate taxis, except my friend and I couldn't get one, so my dad, who was out anyway, came to pick us up. I had to lock in and act normal in the car. Because I had the teensiest bit of coke, it didn't really do anything for me, or maybe I just thought that because I went straight home to bed after eating McDonald's. Miss MILF texted me feeling very guilty, saying, I hope I didn't lead you down a bad path tonight, but still, you're something else. I was a bit wary about meeting her again after the previous night since I don't want to be around that, but she said she rarely did it and I really liked her. I messaged her a few days later asking if she wanted to go out again, to which I was left undelivered for days. I got worried thinking about what if her friend told her that I was friends with her daughter. She messaged me back and apologized, saying she was busy with work and that she would have her kids the weekend I asked to meet. I checked her daughter's Instagram and saw that I had been unfollowed, and my heart dropped to my ass since she was still following me a few days prior. Her daughter is a very confrontational girl and would definitely not hesitate to beat me up, so I was panicking a bit, but she never brought it up to me. I haven't seen Miss MILF since that night, but she still slides up on my Instagram stories, calling me beautiful and all sorts, so I don't really know where we stand with each other. I wouldn't reach out to her first, but if she wanted to meet with me, I wouldn't say no. I would happily kiss my self-respect goodbye just to see her one more time. My entire friend group does not like Miss MILF and thinks she is a horrible influence and is also strange for pursuing me due to the age gap and knowing her daughter. Which I do understand, but I'm looking at the situation through rose-colored glasses just because of how hot she is. My friends who her daughter wronged find this entire situation hilarious that I got with her mom just a few months after we graduated.